Okay everyone, so today we are going to be talking about multiplying binomials. This is one of the most important lessons in this unit, so I do ask that you pay very close attention to this video and make sure to complete all of the practice and follow along as you need. Before we get started on the math side of things, I want to think about the previous example that we had about a party. So imagine you're sharing a cake at a party. Everyone at the party, who is inside the brackets here, wants to get a piece of the cake, which is what is outside the brackets. We recall that when we were sharing the cake, every single person inside the brackets got a piece of that cake. The cake was cut to share with the people. Everybody had their own slice. This time, however, in this example, we have more than just cake on the menu. Like any good party, pizza is also being served. Every guest at the party gets both a slice of pizza and a slice of cake. So let's go ahead and let's start first by sharing the cake, just like we did in the first example. Everybody at the party gets a slice of cake they can hold in their hand. Likewise, everybody at the party is going to get a slice of pizza that they also are going to hold. So now everybody has ended up with two things, okay? If we want to think about this equation in words, let's talk about pizza and cake. If I have pizza and cake, and I would like to give it to Raheel and Sarah, well, that means that Raheel has pizza and cake, and Sarah has pizza and cake. This is the main idea when we multiply binomials together. Everybody gets a piece of what's being served. In the examples that we are going to see, there's always going to be two things being served and two people receiving what is being served. That's because we are dealing with binomials. Binomials are expressions that have two terms. For example, x plus 3 has two terms. 2x minus 1 has two terms. 3x plus 10 has two terms. Negative 4x minus 8 also has two terms. There are two ways to do this mathematically. You can choose whichever method is easier or makes the most sense for you. Both methods will give you the same answer. And I will never say you have to use one method instead of the other. You can choose whichever one is easiest and whichever one makes the most sense. You might halfway through change methods, or if you get to more complex questions, you might change methods again. It is totally up to you. In this lesson, I am going to do 4 examples, and in each of the examples, I'm going to show both methods. Let's get started. Example number 1 is x plus 2 and x plus 3. These two need to be multiplied together. This is what's being served at my party. This is who it's being served to. The table method is the method that I am going to use. First, we are going to look at our two binomials. I'm going to have my yellow binomial, and I am going to have my green binomial. I'm going to put my yellow binomial across the top of the table that I have here. I'm going to put x plus 2. Okay, all I did was rewrite it, x plus 2. And then off on the left-hand side here, I'm going to put my second binomial, x plus 3. Okay, so we put the first binomial across the top, the second binomial across the side. It doesn't matter if you do it the other way around, you'll get the same answer. Let's get started now. In this box, I'm going to do positive 3 times x. Positive 3 times x, so 3 times x gives me 3x. In this box, I'm going to do positive 2 times positive 3. 2 times 3 is 6. In this box, I'm going to do x times x. x times x is x squared. In the last box, I'm going to do x times positive 2. X times 2 is 2x. The answers to these 4 questions are what I'm going to use to find the answer of my original question. I'm going to go ahead and write everything over on the left-hand side here. I'm going to add these 4 terms together. 3x plus 6 plus x squared plus 2x. I'm going to rearrange and put my x squared first. Then I'm going to put my 2 terms that have an x. And finally, I'm going to put my term that doesn't have any x's at the end. Finally, I can combine my 2 middle terms here because they are like terms. I have an x squared, 3 x's plus 2 x's gives me 5 x's. And then I have plus 6. So the final answer to this question is x squared plus 5x plus 6. Let's take a look at the second method. This is called the FOIL method. Okay? We call it the FOIL method because it is an acronym. Okay? And our acronym goes like this. F stands for first. Then we do outside, inside, and then last. And let me show you what this means. I'm just going to rewrite my question down here. We're going to start with the F. F means first. That means I'm going to do the first term in my first bracket and the first term in my second bracket. I'm going to multiply them together. X times x is x squared. Then we are going to do the outside terms. The outside term in my first bracket is the one on the left. The outside term on my right bracket is the one on the right. So you can see under the outside of the equation. I'm going to multiply those together. X times 3 is 3x. Next, I need to do my inside 2 terms. Those are the opposite from the outside. The outside were these, the inside are the ones that are touching. So I need to do 2 times x. 2 times x is 2x. And finally, I need to do my last terms. These are the last terms of each bracket. In this case, it's going to be 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Let's just stop and notice for a fact that we have just landed at the second step in our equations are identical as to when you were using the table format. This just goes to show that it doesn't matter which way you choose to answer your question. All that matters is that you're multiplying things right and you're keeping track to make sure everybody is being multiplied with everybody it needs to be multiplied. Every person at your party needs to get everything that is being served. Finally, we are going to combine our like terms here, just like we did previously, and our final answer is going to be x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay. X plus 4 times x plus 6. Okay, let's look at another example here. X plus 4 times x plus 6. Just like the first example, I'm going to use the table method first. I'm going to rewrite my first binomial across the top of my table. X plus 4. And then I'm going to write my second binomial up the side, x plus 6. Okay, notice how I'm keeping the plus sign with the number that is right beside it. Okay, that's going to help you keep organized when we start doing negative questions. I'm going to go ahead and fill in my table now. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 4 is 24. X times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. I'm going to write out all of my terms on the left hand or on the right hand side here. 6x plus 24 plus x squared plus 4x. I'm going to rearrange to put my x squared first, then my x's, so 6x and 4x, and 24. And then finally I can combine my like terms in the middle here because they are both x's. So I have x squared plus 10x plus 24 as my answer. We can go ahead and we can also solve this using the FOIL method. Remember, F stands for first, and then outside, inside, and last. I'm going to rewrite my equation down here, just so that I have it handy. I need to do my first terms first. X times x is x squared. Then I do my outside terms. X times 6, 6x. Then I do my inside terms. 4 times x is 4x. And then finally I do my last terms. 4 times 6 is 24. I'm going to go ahead and collect my like terms together. X squared plus 10x plus 24 is your final answer. Let's do a third example now, except this time we are dealing with a negative sign in one of our binomials, and that's okay, all the same steps apply. Let's start off with the table method. I'm going to write my first binomial across the top, x minus 1. Again, I'm keeping the minus sign right beside the x to keep it straightforward. And then up the vertical side here, x plus 4. I'm going to fill in each of my 4 middle squares here. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. I'm going to write all of my terms onto the right hand side here. 4x minus 4 plus x squared minus x. I'm going to rearrange to put my x squared first, then my x's, then my numbers. I can combine my like terms in the middle here. 4x minus x is 3x, and then minus 4 is your answer. Let's go ahead and try that with the FOIL method. Remember, FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. My question is x minus 1, x plus 4. We're going to start by doing the first terms. X times x is x squared. Then we are going to do our outside terms. X times 4 is positive 4x. Then we are going to do our inside terms. Negative 1, remember the negative has to stay with the number. So negative 1 times x is negative 1x. And then we have negative 1 times negative 4 is, or positive 4 is negative 4. We can go ahead and collect these like terms in the middle to give x squared plus 3x minus 4 as the full solution. Okay, and we'll do one more example just to finish it off. This time we have two negative expressions in our binomial here. So I'm going to write, again in my table method, I'm going to write my first binomial across the top, and I'm keeping the negative sign with the number. And I'm writing my second binomial to the right, or to the left. I'm going to start by multiplying. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. I'm going to write these four terms off to the right-hand side. Negative 5x plus 10 plus x squared minus 2x. I rearrange to put x squared first, then the terms that have an x on them, and then the whole number. I'm going to combine my like terms in the middle here. Negative 5x and negative 2x. This will give me an x squared minus 7x plus 10. And now we're going to do the exact same question using the FOIL method. Okay, remember that FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. I rewrite my question just down here. Okay, we're going to do our first terms first, x times x, which is x squared. Then I need to do my outside terms, and again I need to keep that negative with my 5, so x times negative 5 is negative 5x. Then I need to do my inside terms. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And finally, I do my last terms. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. Okay, we're going to combine our like terms here. X squared and then negative 5x, negative 2x is negative 7x, and then plus 10. And there you have it.